We have got our last podcast that we're recording together.
It's so special to be in person.
In the same place.
We should just do it all the time.
You should just come to Scotland all the time. Would you like to move into my spare room? I feel like I've mentioned this before and you weren't up for it. So rude. There's a house for sale across the road though.
Oh, you never know. But it's good to stop and reflect and think about how many good things have happened, because so often you're just looking ahead and you kind of don't pause and think, I'm just so grateful that I get to play the harp every day, that I get to visit harp friends. This is my second trip to Scotland, if I don't fit in another one before this launches.
So we're going to hold each other accountable to this then, hey?
It sounds like a plan.
We shake on it. Okay, it's done. We said it.
Now it's going to happen in 2026. Watch the space.
Look out, 2026. Here we come. Welcome to the How to Harp podcast, where your harp and your journey are always front and centre. I'm Heather Downey, harpist and founder of How to Harp, your online space for expert guidance and endless inspiration. Each week, we are here to empower, inspire, and encourage you, whether you're just beginning or many years into your harp adventure. From chats with world-class professionals to real stories from everyday harpists to practical tips you can use right away. This podcast is all about helping you feel happy, confident, and fulfilled with your harp. This is episode 19 and it's one of our regular Harpy Chats with Angela. This one's a little bit special because it's the last chat we recorded together in person while Angela was up visiting in Scotland. In this episode, we take some time to reflect on the year that's just passed, what's gone well, what's been challenging, and how our own harping has fitted in some very full and busy lives. We also talk honestly about staying connected to your harp, carving out personal playing time, and what we'd both like to take forward into the year ahead. Well, hello and welcome to the podcast. We have got our last podcast that we're recording together.
It's so special to be in person.
In the same place.
We should just do it all the time.
You should just come to Scotland all the time. Would you like to move into my spare room? I feel like I've mentioned this before and you weren't up for it. So rude. There's a house for sale across the road though.
Oh, you never know. It may be relevant in today's conversation.
How close is too close? So Angela and I have decided that we are going to go off menu, I guess. We don't have any kind of decided plans about what we are going to be saying today, but we thought that as we reach the end of the year, it's useful to think about how the past year's gone and what you might be thinking about doing next year. What your hopes, dreams, goals are for the coming year. It's something that we often sit down and say people should do. And so we thought that it would be very authentic if we sat down without discussion and did it together ourselves. And maybe that will encourage and inspire you guys to think the same. So perhaps, Angela, I didn't even think we were going to do this. We were going to talk about our hopes and dreams for the following year, but it's actually maybe a good idea to start by saying what's happened this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to think how much has happened this year. This is the year that I started just before the start of this year working for How to Harp. So we've already discussed that in the podcast. A year of working, now a full year from January to December working with How to Harp. I got my new harp this year, which we also discussed a few podcasts ago. We had the in-person How to Harp retreats. So that was also
that
amazing.
Feels like so long ago.
Amazing. And so exciting. And now we're planning the next one. Yeah, those are just some of the highlights. There's been some hard things this year as well. It's been a bit of a crazy whirlwind year and just looking at the next thing. But it's good to stop and reflect and think about how many good things have happened, because so often you're just looking ahead and you kind of don't pause and think, I'm just so grateful that I get to play the harp every day, that I get to visit Harp Friends. This is my second trip to Scotland, if I don't fit in another one before this launches. And that's a treat to be able to come to Scotland twice in 1 year and see you in person. Got to see you in London as well earlier this year. So, yeah, there's been a lot of really good things. What's good that's been happening for you this year?
Well, I mean, I always, every time I think about what's happened in the year, I think every year I go, oh, it's been busy. So this is the story of my life, is that it's been busy. It's been great. It's been a great year. Like Angela said, the How to Harp retreat, our first ever one, which I feel like kicked off the year, it could have gone so badly because we had the national alert of the storm on the first day of the retreat. I feel like only William and I could organise a retreat when we have like the worst storm ever and everyone's phones are going off like, do not travel, stay in your house. And it's the first day of our retreat. But, you know, we got through it. We had a fantastic time. It was a really successful in-person retreat and a really, really big highlight of the year for me, definitely. And I'm so looking forward to next year. I hope some of you are already signed up for next year's retreat. It's going to be great. Not in January.
Bigger and better.
We still can't guarantee there'll be no storms because, of course, Angela came to Scotland last year in January. There was a storm. In October,
there was another storm.
There was a storm. So, you know, you can't predict it, but it was an amazing week that we definitely loved. And then William and I were off on our 8-week tour of Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah.
I know. I know. Which was amazing and super busy and wonderful. There's been lots of fantastic things that have happened in How to Harp. We've introduced this podcast. Is new this year. We've introduced the How to Harp Circle community, where people who are not part of the membership can join and take community about the harp, and other professional harpists can share their gigs and opportunities and materials, and we're hoping to create a really special space with that, and that was launched this year. And of course, we're now running the Christmas collaboration for the 6th year, so lots of things with regards to How to Harp that are amazing and really exciting. But I guess it would be good for us to talk about our personal harping. And I think if I reflect on my personal harping, it's actually been quite a good year because of the tour. Because we went to the Australia on the Australia and New Zealand tour, I was able to carve out some time to really focus on playing my music and sharing my music, which I really, really enjoyed. But in reflecting on the year, because we're often so busy and we're always squirreling away with something going on and going out to learners, which we love, sometimes it's difficult for me to, maybe at the end of the day when I've been teaching all day, harping all day, to then want to harp for me. And it's not so much that I don't have the time. I mean, I don't have the time, but at the end of a day of doing that work of harping, it's hard to get the motivation to do some more harping for me personally. And so I think that if I relate what's been a struggle this year for me to what I would like to achieve next year, I think it would be carving out more time to relax and not do any harpy things, work or personal harping or any of that stuff, so as that when I have my personal harping time, I really want to be at the harp, if that makes sense. That makes sense?
Yeah, that you know exactly what you can do for you. You're not sort of spent all in your energy, that you have nothing left for the things that matter to you.
Yeah, finding a bit more time to fill the cup on a personal level, I think would be a big, on reflecting on the year, would be a really great thing for me to take into 2026.
Yeah, and reflecting on my harping this year, I think so much of this year has been me asking the question about what kind of harpist do I want to be, what things matter to me. I spend a lot of time investing in like thinking about how I want to best serve my students and learning repertoire that they're playing, and just trying different things, even in the consideration of what kind of harp I wanted to play, like just thinking about what does future harping look like. And so this year's been quite reflective, I think, in terms of trying different things and prioritizing that. So I think now, going into the new year, I'd like to be able to prioritize some of my own personal creative projects. I think they often because they're things that I'd like to do but don't have to do get put to the side. And the kind of urgent things that are coming up get pushed forward, and you sort of feel like, oh, I shouldn't be working on that until I've got kind of fixed deadlines done on other things. But those are the things that give you life and are why you play this instrument. And so I feel like I need to make sure I prioritize the things that make me feel alive when I play and bring me the most joy.
That's a great thing. We're on similar paths here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Making sure that we've got time for that personal harping space and energy for that personal harping space. And Angela, this has been the first year of you really being a harp teacher. It'd be interesting to know, obviously I'm reflecting on the fact that when I'm harping all day and the output is always harping, that personal harping becomes difficult. Can you give any reflection on that in your experience in your first year of being a harp teacher?
Well, for me personally, I find if I don't do my own harping first thing in the morning, it doesn't happen. I get distracted by things that I need to do for other people, even if I'm at the instruments. And, you know, for other students that I'm interested in what they're learning and I want to think about, or compositions or other things. And I feel guilty the whole day. I feel guilty the whole day that I haven't had that time. And I should be working on my own things. I shouldn't be saying students practice when I'm not practicing my own repertoire. So I'm the kind of person that I need to, even if it's just a small time in the morning, like I need to, even if I have to get up 15 minutes earlier, just have some time to kind of reset and find my joy and my love for the harp. And then often I'm able to find time the rest of the day. But if I don't do that first, it usually doesn't happen at all in the day. Almost because I feel too guilty to go back to the instruments. It's a weird kind of thing. So yeah, for me personally, that I try and get that in first because I just get distracted with other things. I've never felt kind of too burnt out, I'd say. I mean, I'm probably not doing the same kind of teaching load you were in playing, that I was just like, that's it, I'm done. I don't want to play my own things. I'm always really excited to be like, oh, I just get to play now and work on the things that I love doing. I love all the other stuff too. But yeah, it's a different kind of thing when it's just for yourself. So I haven't got there yet. Maybe I'll have to come for advice in a year's time.
Well, that's good advice though, to get up in the morning. But it's interesting you mentioned that if you don't have that time, you feel guilty. Because if I try and put that time in the morning, I feel guilty because I'm like, there's an arrangement that needs done for the students, or the RCS students are waiting for this email or this handout or this thing, or, you know, there's a video that needs done. And then I find it difficult to kind of focus on my, like, in the back of my head, I find it difficult to get into playing for myself, because in the back of my head I'm like, you should be doing that thing for that person, and that person's waiting for this, and that person needs that. So I find that really difficult. Yeah,
I think for me it's a case of harping is part of my mental health. It's something that I do to kind of keep myself feeling like myself. It's a form of self-care, really. It's a form of therapy. And so I kind of feel like I'm not looking after myself well, kind of like you would if you skipped breakfast every day and didn't eat nutritiously. I feel like there's something that I'm missing. And my husband always teases me. He'll see me mid-morning and be like, you're a bit grumpy. Can you go play the harp, please? Or he'll text me if he can't hear the harp in the morning and be like, please play the harp this morning because you're so much nicer when you do. So, you know, maybe that's why I feel guilty.
That's so funny. I heard you playing the harp this morning.
Yeah, I got up early.
So nice. Like, I was up early because we have a puppy just now and letting her out, and I could hear the twinkling in the background. It was so nice to hear the harp being played in the morning. It was lovely.
Yeah, I wake up in the morning. I used to be not a morning person, but now that I get to harp in the morning, I wake up and I'm like, oh. And Chris always teases me. He'll say, where's my harp? When he sees I wake up, because that's the first thought. I'm like, I get to go and play the harp now. And for so much of my life, that's what I wanted to do and couldn't. I didn't have a harp, or I had to rush off really early to commute to work. So yeah, that just makes me get in touch with my why and why I love this instrument and what's important. So I think I really need to like protect that space. And that will be something I want to take into this next year, and also to use that time that I have in that space on things that are my own personal creative projects.
That's really exciting. So let's put things into practice then. So we've talked about, like, we've kind of talked around a lot of stuff, haven't we? I really need to carve out some personal time, I think, to relax so that I have time with the harp. That's the first thing. And the second thing I think is I need to have something that makes me a little bit more accountable. Particularly, I'm going to say it out loud, because once you've said it out loud,
it's going to happen now.
I know it's quite scary to say things out loud. I think when you speak it out. So if I'm perfectly honest, I don't play my pedal harp enough. And I feel very guilty about that. And so I think that I want to, my goals for next year, speaking them out loud to everybody, are first of all to make sure I have personal time doing stuff that just makes me chill, like more walking of the dogs and just spending time with William, not working, because we spend a lot of time working, just spending time together. And maybe like painting pottery was something that I really enjoyed. So doing more of those things that are just really calming and not thinking about work, in order that when I do have the time set aside to practice harp, I can practice it for me. That's number one. And the second thing I think is I need a bit more accountability with my pedal harping. I don't need it for my lever harp. Maybe because of the RCS students, or maybe just because of the stage of playing I've reached. I find that I can choose appropriate material to practice, and I feel like I can carve myself an appropriate pathway for learning. Whereas in the pedal harp, I'm still finding my way, finding my sound, I guess, or finding who I am as a pedal harpist. And so I still feel a bit unsure about creating an appropriate learning path for myself in that area. And so I think that what I'm going to try and do in 2026, what I would love to do is join an amateur orchestra.
Very nice.
So that would be my number one top thing that I would love to do. However, I did write to the local amateur orchestra and they're full at the moment. So I'm going to chase that up. And if I cannot join a local amateur orchestra, I think I need to get some lessons. I think if I had the orchestra rehearsals and the kind of repertoire from the orchestra to practice, that would keep me accountable to playing my pedal harp. And if I don't have that, I think I need to have some lessons to have something that helps me choose my repertoire, decide that learning path, and stick to it. So those are my two things for 2026.
Great, yeah. For my things for next year, I think I want to make sure that I protect the time that I have at the harp first thing in the morning most days. I think that just sets me up really well. I also want to explore maybe some more creative projects, like I said, like get more into composing and organizing. I've got a few composition projects brewing in the background that I want to move forward on those. It's very easy to kind of just put them to the side and never get to them. I want to continue to work on all the things that I'm working on now, and I do want to get to know my new harp very, very well and get more accustomed to it and see how that develops my sound and my technique. I need to get, my harp has a really strong bass, so I need to get a little bit more technique on that, keeping that tame. So a lot of little things like that I think I'll be working on. But yeah, just making sure that the things that matter to me and that matter to my harping don't get put to the side for all the things that I think matter to everybody else. I think that's really the big thing. To take the time to do those things that matter.
So we're going to hold each other accountable to this then, hey?
That sounds like a plan.
We shake on it. Okay, it's done. We said it.
Now it's going to happen in 2026. Watch the space.
Look out, 2026. Here we come. A huge thank you to Angela for such a lovely chat. It was really nice to do one that was completely unscripted and just see where the conversation took us, especially around how we're both feeling about harping at the moment. And as always, thank you to Angela for everything she does on How to Harp. She is such an important and valued part of the team. Next week, I can't quite believe we're already at episode 20. It's one of our regular features where I chat with a learner harpist about their harp journey. And this one is with Karina Gurley. Karina has a very strong background in music, but is a learner harpist. So she brings a really interesting perspective to her playing. She is a lovely part of the How to Harp membership and also one of the many harpists who came along to our retreat in Scotland earlier this year. We'd met before and been out for dinner at the Edinburgh Harp Festival with a group of How to Harp members. But those festival moments, they're always so busy and frantic. Having a proper time to sit down and chat, spend time together at the retreat was really so special this year, and I really valued it so much. And as always, thank you so much for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, please like, comment, share and subscribe wherever you're listening. It really helps us grow and helps us reach more harpists out there. And I'll see you all next week.